Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kazar, and today we're going to be diving in to a game called Citizen Sleeper. I've been really excited to jump into this game, and now that I'm done with my Wildermyth playthrough, I have the time to devote to a new game. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, and so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I know that it has to do with dice. I know it has to do with some futuristic sci-fi stuff, so we're just gonna have to figure this out as we go. Alright, so we've got a character class choice here. So we've got the operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Okay. So they don't have any engineer skills, but they get a +1 in interface, working with digital interfaces, and a -1 to endure for strength or strength of will. Okay. Now, from what I know, that the citizen sleepers are like robots or something that are being brought back. So it's just a matter of which kind of robot we want. So we've got the machinist. Machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. They have a perk, efficient extractor, chance to gain random scrap item on engineer action. So we do have a +1 in engineer, but a -1 in engage, which I imagine is like our fight, approach a problem head on. Okay, with machines and physical tools. And what was our perk here? Chance to gain Cryo on interface actions. Or Cryo, not Cryo. So random scrap items or Cryo, which I don't know if that's like a power ability thing or if that's a money related thing. But we'll find out. And then we've got the extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. So their perk is photosynthetic skin, which sunbathe dice action allows energy recovery at home. Interesting. So they're solar powered. So they've got extra strength, but they are not able to approach problems with awareness as well. So kind of like our wisdom modifier there. Gosh, who do I want to go with? I mean, the energy side of it seems like a good option, but I mean, I am always kind of a sucker for the technomancer side, like getting in with digital interfaces, get your hack deck, that sort of thing. And it seems like whatever it is we're going to be doing with this character, we can build it out more tactfully rather than strength-based. So I think we're going to go with the operator with the transfer intercept ability. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. Where am I? So we got no items. Oh, so Cryo is cryptocurrency. I guessed that correctly. Stored in airwalled sticks of memory known as chits. Unknown. Okay, we don't have any data yet. Oh, the first thing you become aware of, we already read that. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Ooh, do we want to think of that body or forget that body? Let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Should I remember the plan or remember the others? Let's remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized that they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but even then your body has shut many of its systems down to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then, light. White as the cold. Then softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Well, that was cool. So we are some kind of... Ooh. Okay. We are some kind of robot that has taken on the consciousness of what was once a human. So, okay, Dragos, pragmatic salvager. Well, hi. You need a shave. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a Marlar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice.
So, Sleeper, you all thawed yet?
Almost.
Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance?
Perseverance. God, that word just threw me for a loop.
New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-out or locks in my time. They weren't so lucky.
Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare.
Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long.
You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question.
I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation. And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we sold ourselves to a corporation, sold our body, but we're essentially on the run still because the self that is us, that is inhabiting this robot, the robot is still theirs. Interesting. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you don't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. Aston Arp wants to protect their property. But if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Oh, it's like Jurassic Park. The lysine contingency. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're the only one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is in the best place you could be right now. The eye is the eye is the best place you could be right now. What's the eye? The station. You'll see it soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with, he trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back to the Rex, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk, plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright, welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Select locations by clicking on the icon. So that would be this. Yes. Woo! Alright. End cycle. All cycles need to end, rest and repair, or rest and prepare for the next one. You wake, curled up in the corner of the container, and begin slowly assembling the world around you, 4 steel walls. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station. Millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Ooh, getting answers, building a life, or escape? I'd say let's build a life. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud on the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images of your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright, polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking that they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Okay. So here's where the dice come in. Condition, action dice, and energy. Condition. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Okay. Here are the action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Okay. So I wonder if that's what this is? Yeah. The top one goes to 1. So our condition, we're at like, I don't know, 70% health, 60% health? Something like that. So we have 4 dice at our disposal right now. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse you have it, the worse you roll. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Energy, number 3. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food and currency to buy it. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. Okay. If it becomes empty, you'll be starving, and your condition will deplete at double rate per cycle. So this one goes slower, but if we don't deal with it, then we are gonna be in some deep shit. So essentially, it's health, action economy for the day, and then a timer on our on our eventual demise if we don't eat. Okay. So, do I leave here? I guess so, huh? No data yet. Dragos is stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising.
How you feeling?
Okay.
The drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. You know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe.
He pauses.
So I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work?
Sure.
All right then.
He nods.
At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously, I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn in. These are chits. He pulled out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo. Isolated from the market. It's what we use to trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help.
Why?
Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there.
He pauses, thinking of something else to add.
Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do.
Okay, will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him.
See you later,
he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Okay, so... Ooh, what's this? Low end gate, passage to the low end. Oh, cool, so that we can go this way. But I'm gonna guess that we want to go to the yard first and foremost. Decaying scrapyard. Alright. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world as Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Okay. Repeatable action. So this one had a little repeat arrow on it. Hold a section, engineer. I don't have any engineer skill because I didn't choose that route. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. We can input whatever dice we rolled. And there's also repeatable action, manual salvage, which is endurance, which we have a -1 in. So we're not built for this kind of... we chose the wrong one to start out with, at least. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. Okay. So actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. Okay, clock progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Or negative, the action fails. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. 100% chance positive. Is that just because of the type? I guess so, because if we have this number, what is that? A 6? If we have a 6, 100% it's going to work. If we have a 5, only 50% chance it's going to work. And 50% chance it's going to have a neutral action. If we have a 3 or a 4, we've got a 25% chance it's positive, 50% chance of neutral, or 25% chance that it's going to be a negative action. Oh, okay. So this actually works a lot like Fate or another kind of TTRPG, where oftentimes the action that you're going to be getting is going to be a neutral, which just means that you succeed, whereas positive means we're going to get something real nice, and obviously we want to avoid the negative if we can. So it seems like a 3 and a 4 are still a pretty good chance that we're not going to get a negative chance, and we can get a neutral chance at least, just a regular success. Whereas 1 and a 2, we're rolling the dice on whether we succeed or fail immediately. Okay. Actions display information about their type, risk level, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. So we've got that it's a repeatable action, type either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can be only performed once. So these are both repeatable actions. 2, we have the risk factor down here. Either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss in condition, energy, or cryo if we... I'm guessing if we fail, right? Like if we do this one and we fail, there's no consequence. Risky, negative outcome means cryo or energy loss. Okay. So by choosing this one, if we do end up with that negative action, we're going to lose something. And then danger means condition loss, which I think was our health. And neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. Interesting. So if we're on danger and we get neutral, we're gonna still have a negative condition. We'll succeed, but we'll be losing cryo or energy in order to do so. Okay. So we want to avoid negative at all costs with danger, because that's going to lead to our health being lost. And then just think we don't want negative on either of them, honestly, but we can manage on risky at least. Number 3, which is here, the skill that's going to be used. So this one's engineer, this one's endure. We also have interface, intuit, or engage. And then there's the modifier that goes on with our character sheet, either -1, 0, +1, or +2. Oh, okay, can't go lower than -1. That's interesting. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. Okay, so we got a 5 right here, which we could use on something, and then we've got whatever this cycle clock is. Oh, this is potentially progressing these clocks for these story elements. So this one's a debt called in. Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, things could get nasty. And then also, we got back in business. Every salvager knows that they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So potentially, moving the clock in the correct direction here. So risky. Trying to remember. I'm already forgetting our thing. So it was 6 is absolute success. 5 is 50% like, or critical success. 50% just regular success. And then I think it was 4 and 3 was the one that was like 50% neutral, and then 25 on the other sides. So I kind of want to do, I kind of want to put in the 5 on the risky one and just go for that there. Oh, can I not input dice? How do I do that? Oh, there we go. Okay, I got to drag it to there. Okay, good. So it reminds me, 50% positive, 50% neutral. I can start the action. Okay. Tutorial clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Dragos' debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Okay, that's because it also says the negative, so it means that in, what is that, 8 cycles, there's going to be some sort of negative. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of negative thing that happens that we're going to have to deal with. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Cool. I always love when RPGs use clocks. It's usually something that comes up in tabletop RPGs. I know Blades in the Dark is one that uses a lot of clocks, but it really like gives us a sort of a concrete idea of what is happening and how much time we've got to deal with it. So I think we had I want to say that was a positive outcome. That was a critical success, I'm guessing. And so that gave us 2 ticks on this, whatever this great payday is. I'm kind of wondering, since this one's safe, does that mean if I put this here, 50%, oh, it takes it down to a 1. Not that that matters in this situation. If I move the 4 here, that would change that to a 3. But if it's safe, I'm trying to remember. I think if it was safe, then there wasn't any negative outcome to it. So we could roll the dice here, 50% to neutral. Let's try it. Okay. Survive, find a doctor. Fantastic. Oh, God. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives, depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. So is that just, like, our current activity, essentially? Like our current mission? Drives and navigation. You're now free to explore Erlen's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Okay. Alright. Use the mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Okay. Oh, good. I got a neutral outcome. Back in business. So I got a 1 on the clock, and then we got some cryo, it looked like. Alright. So I'm thinking maybe... I guess it doesn't really seem to matter which of these 2 it is, because they're both going towards this back in business clock. So I probably should go for this one, since I don't have any negative modifiers there. Alright, so we've got survive, repay Dragos. Dragos pulled you out of the salvage and set you up. Perhaps you can repay his kindness, help pay off Dragos' debt. I can toggle that, or I could toggle survive, find a doctor. I think I'll do the survive one first, find a doctor. I wonder, let me leave real quick. Can I find a doctor? There's construction yards. There's Dragos' yard. don't know if that's what... Oh, here we go. Bright market. Bustling open market. I think... Yeah, let's just go and take a look here. I can ask for directions. I can explore the market. Local knowledge. The bright market is the busiest part of the eye's lower rim. You can find anything and everything here. So this one has potential danger. Why wander when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the bright market? All you need is the courage to approach them, but it could end up badly. And then this one's risky. The smells, sounds, and buzzing activity of the bright market makes it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. So I don't think we're quite ready for that, but I imagine that we're going to need to go into there in order to find the doctor. What do we got here? Dock B2. Rotunda, Old Dock Terminal. We've got the Wet Dock. I mean, we can click on all these things and see what's going on there. Hellion Crossing. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Hellion system are rare, but those that do always return, eventually. Okay. So can I can see character. Cool. Look at us. So we have no upgrade points just yet. I was just kind of hoping I could see how much cryo and such we got. But I don't know. Oh, here we go. So we've got 25 cryo, just in case. Alright, let's go back to work. And I think we're just going to go for risky and just go for this one. That's the thing, though, is like this one might give us a cut down, but it's safe. So if risky... negative action, this could go poorly. Let's see. Oh boy, negative outcome. So we just lost a whole slot of energy, but we got some cryo, I think. Yeah, we did get cryo for doing that. Gosh, I don't really want to risk another one, so I'm gonna go over here and see what happens. Okay, one more to back in business. 10 cryo is a neutral outcome. Okay. So the problem is we need food, but I think we've got some food here. So all cycles need to end, rest, and repair for the next one. Now we're starving. Great. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Touch it. You find a point in the station and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try, in a moment of impulsiveness, to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you, insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored. And then it's gone. Okay. Well, that's terrifying a little bit. Okay, so we're starving, we're fading, so we only have 3 actions we could take. So at this point, we need to find food. I don't know where we can go to find food. Shipyard. Assist a shipbuilder. Again, engineer and endure. We don't have either of these skills. So maybe if we could find a job that would help us with what we do have, which is what? What is it called? We have... What do we have? Oh, here we go. +1 interface. That's right. So we need to find a job that helps us work with digital interfaces. Okay. Dock C4. Oh, time is passing on that. It's got a clock. So I'm guessing that when this clock is up, that's when something's going to happen there. The people are going to come in. We can find them and get goods from them. It takes several cycles to reach the starboard belt and return loaded with scrap from the old wrecks. Yeah, so it's like a shop that's going to do something, I guess. What does the rotunda got? Steel dock plans. That sounds really immediate. Let's see here. Getting to know the rotunda doesn't mean new places to visit. It doesn't just mean new places to visit. It means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. We can explore the rotunda, which connects to all sorts of docking bays. Okay. I just need to find food. That's what I need. I mean, maybe it's the bright market? Oh, pay the low-end toll. Oh, interesting. So I'm stuck on this section of the ring until I have enough money to pay the toll. That makes sense. Okay. So I guess let's try the bright market. We're going to risk it. Gosh. Do we ask for directions, which has a high chance of danger? Oh, we could have full success, though, because we do have a 6 here. I wonder what the difference is here, though. Ask for directions. Oh, this one's a repeatable action, so it might have less of an outcome, but this one's a critical action. We can only do it once. But if we have full chance of success here, then we should do this. So why wander when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the bright market? All you need is the courage to approach them. Come on. There we go. Local knowledge. We've succeeded here. The bright market is the busiest part of the eye's lower rim. You can find everything and anything here. Well, how do we find it? Ask for directions. Explore the market. Okay, so that is unavailable now. It says you end up at a drinks hall debating the finer points of the Stelheim collapse. You try to remember all the tips your companions offer you. Okay. So I guess none of these actions are available. So how do I find food is my question. Okay. Oh, there we go. So we've got the Ord Exchange, Hardware Exchange. There we go. Street food vendor. And we also need to find the doctor as well. So let's see about the food vendor. Emphis is busy. His broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, scrubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually, it's your turn. As you shuffle to the front, Emphis speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. I thank him. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you. You sleepers, Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility in its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems, you tell him, like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and that you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually, you trail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand.
Next time, we can talk more.
He smiles.
But next time, you pay.
It's very nice of him. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades.
Next time then, sleeper.
He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. God, that sounds so good right now. Like some spicy mushrooms. That sounds great. Okay. New drive discovered. So, get to know Emphas. Okay, so we gotta build a ship mind and get to know Emphas. So you've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ort Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mind core. What could that be? Emphas loves two things, stories and food. Maybe if you supply him with both, you can hear his story. Cool. Cool. I think we're going to still go for the doctor thing here. So, I guess we didn't have to spend anything to go to his stall. So we still have 2 actions to do. So I'm thinking, let's try and deal with the doctor, and then we can use those 2 actions to work in the shipyard some more. Or one of the actions to use in the shipyard. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway toward the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve, but your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will... You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look inside. You lean against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. "Wait your turn," he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway, and you catch a distant voice. "Send the next one in, Toshiro." The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment, you're transfixed by the motion. "Come in," comes a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. "Please, sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on the station?" they ask, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles." They nod. "It's good you came to me." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying," they say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. Aston Arp doesn't like to see its property technology let loose. a proprietary technology let loose, to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which Asin Arp remains the sole producer of. They looked up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good. That may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or for everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and Asin Arp has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor. Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Ooh. Sabine's surgery. Okay, so we're waiting. It seems like this one's going to pass with a cycle. Yeah. It's hard to read it there, but I think it does say cycle there. It's a cycle one. Alright, and then this is hardware exchange, which I think we're just going to keep working. I think that's our focus here for now. Keep working on the yard. I think we're probably just going to go here. We have 25% chance of negative. I mean, I think I'm going to take that risk again. God, why did I got that again. Okay. I did get some cryo out of it, but I lost energy. Alright, let's try again. Our luck's bound to turn at some point. Why did I say that? Gosh. Oh, man. 2 negative actions in a row. Alright. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take a pause here before beginning the next cycle. If you enjoyed this playthrough and want to see more of what's coming on the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos, like this video so it shows up in the YouTube algorithms, and as always, folks, I will see you in the next game.